And welcome back to Daily Wrap. Well, before we jump in, let's jump on board, shall we? Yes. Newsmax wants to send one lucky couple on a 7-day Silver Sea cruise to the Caribbean this winter. Obviously, a luxury cruise in the Silver Wind is the trip of a lifetime. To win, however, you have to enter our sweepstakes. Visit newsmax.com/sweepstakes. That's newsmax.com/sweepstakes to enter. Okay, it's potluck time, part of the show. Go around the table, share our favorite stories of the day. Hirschfield, what are you serving up?
I'm serving up Nathan Hale, patriot, founding father. Turns out he may have only had one life to give for his country, but there's a lot of him to go around at Yale University. And this is the real deal. And it's angered author Eric Metaxas. He's the author of a really interesting biography of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the anti-Nazi Lutheran pastor who was murdered toward the end of the war in 1945. Metaxas saw that they were giving away, through the Yale Alum magazine, the class of 75 is giving away Bonhoeffer bobbleheads. I'm sorry, not Bonhoeffer bobbleheads. That would have really upset him. Yeah. But giving away Nathan Hale bobbleheads. Now, it's an image we have right there of a little statuette of a statue that's actually on campus in New Haven with the words, "I regret that I have but one life to give for my country." And he saw this as, he was staggered and profoundly grieved, he said, Metaxas, because he felt this was mocking a holy event. Now, I don't know why he thinks it's mocking. I've been given bobbleheads of all kinds of people, including of Martin Luther at one of the country's leading Lutheran seminaries, and that's the pastor that he wrote about. So I think the mocking piece is a little wrong. It is a sacred event, but he went on to make comparisons that are truly dangerous. He said, what if they made a bobblehead of Martin Luther King Jr., Matthew Shepard, the Prophet Muhammad, or Trayvon Martin? Now that's a weird set of comparisons, and this is where sensitivity becomes really dangerous political correctness. Martin Luther King Jr., you're going to compare the two situations? Matthew Shepard, who was murdered because he was gay, the Prophet Muhammad, who died peacefully in his sleep of a fever, and Trayvon Martin, who at best died under circumstances that were bad but not criminal because no charges were brought. So there is something really weird about the absolute absence of a sense of humor, but even worse, imagining that all of these are the same. That they're not all the same. And this is what happens when legitimate sensitivity gets collapsed and no distinctions can be made whatsoever, and no one is allowed to have a sense of humor about anything, as opposed to saying, you know, we went to campus, and that campus had a statue that celebrated a great American named Nathan Hale. And if you want to be in touch with the spirit of the patriotism that Nathan Hale represents, support the class, support the university, and get the bobblehead, and move on. But then on top of that, to imagine that a bobblehead of Nathan Hale, a bobblehead of Trayvon Martin, that's the same thing. Look, with respect to Mr. Metaxas, it was a good book, and I get it. The death of a patriot is a kind of holy moment. But those analogies have no place in meaningful discourse.
Amen to that. Rick Unger?
Well, you know, for years, it seems like the ultimate crack against Obama or the left has been whatever philosophy, whatever they do, whatever political strategy is, quote, ripped from the playbook of Saul Alinsky. Saul Alinsky has become shorthand for ultra left wing. But it's always made me wonder, why is that reserved for the left? Why can't the right also follow the principles of Saul Alinsky? It turns out he was once asked the question and he said they can, which is why the left needs to be better at it than the right. Well, that got me thinking and examining the candidates that we have running for president right now. And it occurred to me very clearly that some of our GOP candidates have now ripped from the playbook of Saul Alinsky certain strategies. To illustrate the point, in my article for Forbes.com yesterday, I actually took some of the rules for revolution that Saul Alinsky outlined in his own books, and I applied them to what's happening right now with some of our candidates. For instance, number one, politics is all about power relations, but to advance one's power, one must couch one's position in the language of morality. Now, you can immediately jump to somebody like, say, Bernie Sanders, who has been out there making the pitch that our economy is, in essence, an immoral economy because it leaves so many people behind. And that would feel right to you because Bernie Sanders is a self-avowed socialist. But what about Mike Huckabee? What about Mike Huckabee, who has actually based his entire campaign on taking positions not only from a point of view of morality, but from another Alinsky greatest hits, civil disobedience. Mike Huckabee has been out there beating the bushes, telling anybody who will listen that they should ignore the Supreme Court in their ruling on same-sex marriage, and that they should disobey and engage in whatever it takes to not stand up for this, because, in the words of the governor, there is a supreme being that takes precedence over the Supreme Court. Then you have another quick one. Change is brought about through relentless agitation and troublemaking of a kind that radically disrupts society as it is. One word for that, I think you'll get the point: Trump. It seems that Saul Alinsky is not just for the left wing anymore.
Wow. And I'm sure you got some wonderful comments in there, your article about
I
that.
did. And,
We'll read them in the next block.
Yeah.
Up next, it's Yay or Nay. This is the Daily Wrap.